At long last, Rockets are finally here. Welcome back guys to a much requested deck video. I took the time to work hard on this as I didn't want to disappoint any of you guys. Thankfully, I think I did okay and I got some good duels on stream that made me enjoy playing the deck. This was a learning experience for me as I didn't have much knowledge on Rockets at all. A lot of lists I saw had Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which we lost after the update. A lot of the rocket ratios were also pretty unique in some lists, so I made sure to capitalize on the most important ones. Rocket Tracer is the most important rocket, as he has a quick effect to pop your face-up cards to summon another rocket from the deck. This usually helps set up your materials for link summons and gets you rolling nicely. One mistake I commonly make with him is using his effect too early, as it locks you into Dark Monsters for the rest of your turn, meaning no Romulus, which can be an important combo play that gives you some decent advantage. Some of the other minor rockets have unique effects that trigger when they are targeted by link monsters. They also float into other rocket monsters in the end phase if they are destroyed, so you can continue making link summons on your following turn. This can be triggered by your opponent or yourself. Starly Safer helps set up the Chaos Dragon engine, which has been newly limited after the update. Despite the hits to 1, these cards are still useful, as Safer by itself can get you a link 2 at the minimum without using any rockets. The main approach you want to take is to ideally go into Striker Dragon, followed by Dragoonity Knight Romulus to get some nice searches and a crucial mill with Dragon Ravine. From here, using Boot Sector Launch to summon any search rockets will further enable your link plays into the Guard Dragons, followed by whatever boss monsters of your choosing. I'll explain it more in detail in the replay. Some key link monsters to note in this deck are Quadboro Dragon and the Lingerous Dragon. Quadboro can destroy a card, preferably a link monster, to bring back rocket monsters from the grave and create even more plays. The Lingerous Dragon revives itself when a rocket is special summoned, also assisting in crucial link summons. Focus on these cards well, as many mistakes I made involve using these cards incorrectly. While I wanted to show a Borrowlord X-Charge Dragon, I found he wasn't that useful and opted for Furious Dragon instead. Super Polymerization is also a decent option, as you can make Starving Venom quite easily with either side of the field. A second Striker Dragon or Boost Sector Launch also isn't a bad idea if you find that your initial play is disrupted somewhere, or if you had to remove Boost Sector Launch for Rocket Tracer and need another. I do make some notable mistakes in the replays, partially due to time pressure and others were made due to lack of experience with the deck. This first one isn't too bad as I get a decent combo out. My opponent's gonna go first and set some back rows, so I think I had like a phase in that night where I was streaming that everyone was playing stall type decks, so this is pretty much gonna be that type of matchup. This hand is pretty decent as I can use Gateway Dragon's second effect to special summon Magna Rocket from the hand. Later on in the video, I make a mistake and summon Gateway Dragon second and lose Precious advantage, so try to remember his second effect. Thanks to having at least 2 monsters, I can start my combo sequence of going into Striker Dragon and then Romulus. This gets us some important searches as we can first search Boot Sector Launch for later, and then going into Romulus gets us Dragon Ravine, which we can dump the Absoluta Dragon with. Starting off your combos like this is preferred if you can land it, so whether it's with Gateway Dragon or Starly Safer, getting 2 monsters out for this is the goal. As I mentioned, we're going to search Dragon Ravine, and thankfully we have Absoluta in our hand so we can discard him and dump something else that we could use. From here, I could say you can dump Destrudo, or you can dump Tempest, whichever one is preferred for you. I do end up dumping Destrudo here, because later on we are going to use the Guard Dragons to special summon Tempest from the deck. The Strudel is a good extender to give you an additional link material if you need it. I didn't get to use it much due to time and pressure, but it is a good option to have. Now that Dragon Ravine is used, we can activate Boost Sector Launch. Unfortunately, we could only get 1 rocket to the hand and not 2, but luckily we do have Rocket Tracer, so we can pop the Boost Sector Launch to get a second monster out. As I mentioned before, you could run a second Boost Sector Launch for recovery plays. Popping it just now with Tracer is a last resort sort of, since we needed the second monster. Since I plan on summoning Tempest from the deck, I bring out Rocket Synchron since we will use him to synchro with later. Each rocket now will link into a Guard Dragon each to get our additional summons out. From here, Guard Dragon Pisty can bring back Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon can then use its effect to pop Pisty, bringing back Rocket Synchron to the hand, which will come into play later. Once we do this, it'll open up a new slot for LP's effect to go off in the markers between Striker Dragon and Romulus. We can now finally summon Tempest from the deck, which gives us a level 7 for Rocket Synchron. We can now link into Delingers Dragon and set up Romulus' second effect to summon our tuner from the hand, who cannot be used as a link material. At this point, things could have been done differently. From here, we could also link into Quadboro Dragon, and then Quadboro Dragon could use its effect to discard a card, to pop Delingers Dragon, to bring back additional rockets from the graveyard. At this point, Delingers Dragon's effect would chain, and then he would also come back, giving you access to another link monster potentially. Usually at this point in the combo though, I do look at the timer and I start to panic, so we did end with something shorter. I did remember that my opponent used Threatening Groudar, so I decided to go to Unchained Abomination and Borolo Savage Dragon. Even though we can't attack, this puts us in a good position to pop his cards, and then also negate anything he does afterwards. Once we pop Drown and Mirror Force, I already decided to take this game patiently. My opponent, however, realizes that with Abomination, I can safely sit back and pop any back row he has, so he scoops. In the event that we weren't dealing with back row, we could go into Borosword Dragon for an OTK. That's it from me though. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and be sure to leave a like and a comment.